All right, today, hey, we're going to be talking about the 7 deadliest mistakes to avoid in any kind of business, regardless of what kind of industry you're in. Doesn't matter what kind of business you're in. If you got a retail store, a brick and mortar, if you got an automobile store, or you're a plumber, electrician, a real estate agent, doesn't matter what kind of company you got, a restaurant, a coffee shop, doesn't matter. But these are the 7 deadly mistakes that all business owners have to really pay attention to and look at on a consistent daily basis because I do it. I'm a CEO and a business owner for over 30 years. And believe me, I watch these numbers on a consistent, regular basis in order for me to flow and to move forward. And I'm going to share that with you guys as well. All right. So we're going to go into that again. Apologize for being late, but here we are. Let's rock and roll with it. All right. Here we are. I'm Sid. I'm Sid Hameed. I've been in the business for since 2001. I really started in '89 doing construction work and building and things like that. But I registered the business in 2001 as Brick Farm Properties. I've been a mentor and a speaker. I've taught and trained thousands of people in DC, Maryland, Virginia, in Florida, in Arizona, in Texas. I went around teaching folks about business, about real estate, about buying and selling businesses and how to strip them down and get the assets. But anyway, I also worked at the SBA, Small Business Administration down in DC on L Street. And I was volunteering my time there because we had a computer company and I was showing people how to set up their business plans and what is needed to get the loan, the SBA loan as well. So I did that for many years. I'm a founder and a visionary of Brick Farm Properties. And so my whole purpose today is just to pour into you guys and to give back to you guys for real. I'm just at a place in my age and my mind and my spirit and my heart is, I got this knowledge. I can't take it to the grave with me. So I'm putting it out there to the universe. Whoever grabs it, grabs it. Whoever works with it, works with it. I'm positive energy all day long. I like positive vibes all day long. I hate bad people, shitty people around me. I'm very focused and very determined on what I do. And this is what I'm going to show you guys on how to create your environment. Have positive people around you that are there and here to help you nurture and to grow and to scale. And I'm going to show you how over the last 50-some years, I figured this out. This didn't happen 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. This has taken me years to figure this out. And I'm going to share with you guys my knowledge and my experience in terms of what I do and how I do it. Now, you may not agree with everything that I say, and that's okay. Now, you may like some of the things that I say. Well, take it, work with it. And if you have any questions or comments or remarks, please chat, type them in. I have my team looking at the information coming on the back end, and they'll bring it to my attention, and I'll address those things. All right, so today's training is for inspiring entrepreneurs, right? So you're young, you're hungry, you're eager, you're tired of working the 9-to-5 job, or you just want to start your own business, a catering business, a hair salon, a plumber, an electrician, an auto shop, a coffee shop, whatever business, it doesn't matter what industry, but you're eager and you got hunger and you got the will and you got the force to go out there and say, you know what, I'm going to claim my own. So I'm talking to you guys and let me show you how to do it. All right. We're talking to small business owners that already exist, right? Some of you guys have already started your business. You got your EIN number. You got your state of Maryland, DC, Virginia numbers. You're already out there doing your thing. You're grinding, you're working, but you got stumbling blocks, right? And we're going to talk about some of the stumbling blocks that happen on a daily, consistent basis in business. And we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to share some of my real stories that I go through and how I look at numbers and analyze my own data. And hopefully this information will help you guys to look at your own business in the same light. All right, we're talking to real estate professionals and service providers like mortgage, loan officers, real estate agents, appraisers, insurance agents. Look, we're all business owners, and we need the biggest thing that we need is cash. And we're going to talk about how to control the cash and the cash flow and the gasoline in your tank. You got the car. If your gas tank is full, that's one thing, baby. But if your gas tank is empty, That's another thing. We're going to talk about that as well and how to control that. We're talking to freelancers and side hustlers, people driving Uber, Lyft, they're doing DoorDash, they're doing all these little side hustle businesses while they got to go to school or they got a full-time job and they're just trying to figure out how to make more, right? You could turn anything into a real business with a clear vision, clear plan, and clear thought process. And we're going to talk about how to take that idea and then break it out into a mind map with the process, the flow, right? We're going to talk about the flow chart. All right. The vision-driven CEO, right? Focus on the growth, leadership, using the tools like ChatGPT and Upworks. Last week we talked about, how to hire the right person for the right seat, for the right position to get the right outcome for your business, regardless of what that is, right? And we talked about how to go and hire people and where to go and hire these people and how to find them and how to analyze that. If you haven't seen that video, go back to the YouTube channel, look at the last week's video, and it'll show you how to go and find people so you could delegate, right? So you could delegate duties and responsibilities that are like, $5, $10 an hour duty. And as the CEO of the company, time value of money matters. So if you're valued at $100 an hour or $150 an hour or $500 an hour or $1,000 an hour, you have to look at your time value of money and where you're spending your money and the things that you're doing in terms of work, right? You only got so much time in a day. Can you delegate some of these admin duties? Can you delegate some of these social media duties? Can you delegate some of these incoming traffic duties, clients walking in, customer service, support, CEO type stuff? You got to have the vision. You got to stay clear on that. We're going to talk about that as well. Because your number one focus as a business owner and the CEO is what? It's to bring in business. It's to grow the business and bring in business on a regular, consistent basis. Like me, I'm thinking about my business consistently, regularly, like 7 days a week, like a lot, like 16, 17 hours a day. Now I do breathe and I do relax and I do meditate and I release and I surrender and I let go at the end of the night because I do a lot of meditation. Meditation is really important and being grateful is very essential and being thankful is very, very important, right? Being connected to the spirit, connected to self is very important. And then knowing yourself is extremely important. And we're going to talk about that as well. Every business hits roadblocks, right? Every business is going to hit a roadblock, all right? The ones that survive and thrive are the ones that do one thing differently, one thing. And that one thing makes a difference, which is don't ignore the warning signs, right? What does that mean? Don't ignore the warning signs. All right, bottom line is this. You got a bank account. You got $3,000, $5,000, $50,000, $100,000 in your bank account. You got maybe $200 in your bank account, all right? How do you monitor that cash? Right? How do you monitor that cash? You may have, $300, $400, $600 worth of bills, $1,000, $10,000 worth of bills, but how do you monitor that cash? Right? So we do projections, right? Cash flow projections. We look at income, balance sheets, right? Profit and loss, day one, week 1, week 2, week 3. So we're going to talk about how to look at the warning signs and, and understand the warning signs. Right, so let's uncover the 7 deadly mistakes that quietly sabotage any business. It happens on a regular basis. People just get so busy trying to do work in the business that they forget to look up and focus on the vision. And we're going to talk about these silent, deadly 7 mistakes that overall business owners make. All right. The number one thing is lack of vision. Right? Lack of a clear vision. So for me, I'm just, I tell my story. I get up early, 5 to 6 o'clock, and I get my cup of coffee, come downstairs. I'm always analyzing, looking at, okay, what are the 3 top things I got to get done today? The 3 top things must happen today. Once I get them done, what are the next top 3 things I got to get done? What are the next top 3 things I got to get done? Right? So I organize, I'm very structured. So you got to have a very clear vision in terms of where you're trying to go. I'm always looking at Q1, Q2, Q3. Are we in the winter economy? Are we in the spring economy? Are we in the summer economy? Where are we? And then I'm looking at financial management, right? If you got poor financial management, you got money coming in, and the bills going out consistently, but you're not really managing your cash flow. You're not really paying yourself, but you're just paying the business, paying the employees, buying inventory, doing this, doing that, and you're just moving and grinding at 400 miles an hour. Woo! You need to sit down and relax, baby. All right, breathe, take it back, step back. Financial management is the key. Watch your cash, watch your money. That's the gas tank, right? If your gas is going low, you got to get more gas. And financial management is very important. Number three is ignoring the market research. Regardless of what business you are, what industry you are, you got to look at the market research. So if you're in like a 5-mile radius, a 3-mile radius, a 10-mile radius, do your market research. Where's your clients coming from? Who are your clients? Are they males, females? Are they the age of 10 to 50 to 60 to 70? What's the age? Are they, how much do they spend? $30, $300? What's the average sale that takes place, right? Know your market research, right? And then hiring the right people, right? Hiring processes, hiring practices. So you can't just hire anybody. You can't hire family members and cousins and people working for your business because they're not going to work your business the way you're going to work your business. Bottom line is the business is your baby, not theirs. They're not going to do what you're going to do. Wake up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock, work Saturday, work Sunday, work in the evenings, do things that are necessary for your business. It's not their business. So you got to make sure the people that you hire, they understand your culture of the business, your mission statement. They understand your value of the business. They understand your service that you're providing, that you're putting out there into the industry. So hiring the right people, it takes time. And I have a process the way I hire people. And I don't just hire everybody, right? So we take our time, we analyze, we review, we have an interview 1, an interview 2, an interview 3, and then we take our time because if you hire the wrong people, it's a revolving door, right? They stay 3 months, they're gone. They stay 4 months, they're gone. They stay 2 months, they're gone. And then you as a CEO, you're constantly spending your time and your energy, your money hiring people, and you're not really scaling and growing your business because you're so focused on with the people that are coming and going, right? So making the mistake of hiring the wrong person is not a lovely thing. So you really want to take that into consideration, right? Neglecting employee development. So when you do hire somebody, you hired Miss Johnson, Mr. Peterson, you hired them, right? But now you got to show them what to do as a CEO. You have to say, look, I want you to do this, this, and this on an everyday basis. And you got to stay on top of them. You got to nurture them. You got to talk to them. I have company meetings on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, Wednesday, week 1, week 2, week 3. We meet 12 times a month. In my business, we meet 12 times a month. The employees, and we are connected. And we do employee development. We do call reviews. We do call analysis. We do deal analysis, deal reviews, right? You got to be connected to your employees. It's one thing to hire somebody. It's another thing, just think they're going to automatically do your business and run your business while you can take off and do things. No, it don't work like that. You as a CEO, you're there to nurture them and build them. You want them to stay 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, so they can help you, right? They can help you grow your business, scale you, because every person has ideas and concepts and thoughts. Ask the people that are working for you, hey, man, if this was your company, what would you do? How would you do it, right? Give me some ideas, give me some thoughts. So when we're doing our meetings on Wednesdays and Fridays and Mondays, I'm not the one just sitting here talking and talking and talking. I'm asking them, tell me your ideas, give me your feedback, because I want to make sure we're all on the same page. Because my employees are not on the same page as me, then they got to go, right? They got to go because they all got to be in the same vision, the same page, in the same direction that I'm trying to go. And I want to hear from them. And you got to be able to do the same thing. You got to train your people. You got to talk to them, build trust, build confidence in them, and get them to feel as if they're part of the business so they could go and be loyal to you and be loyal to your clients, right? Regardless of what industry you're in, all right? Lack of adaptability. All right. So right now, what that means is right now in the last 5 months, since we've gotten this new president, there's been a lot of firing. People got a lot of people got laid off. People got fired. The economy is still soft. Inflation is still high. Eggs and bread and milk and gas is still high, right? People are now trying to figure out how to pay their bills since they got laid off. There's a lot of stuff right now that is happening in the industry. You got to be able to adapt. You got to be able to adapt to based on what's happening in the current market. Right now, we're in Q2 of 2025, right? I'm looking at the data. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm in real estate. I'm in construction. I build houses. I'm a real estate inspector, right? I'm looking at the data. How many people are buying? How many people are selling? How many people are sitting still? All this stuff. And then in my last 5, 10 mile, 20 mile radius, I'm looking in my local area because that's where my clients come from. I'm paying attention. And regardless of what kind of business you got, a hair salon, a beauty shop, a nail salon, an auto shop, a coffee shop, a restaurant, it doesn't matter. You got to understand your market. But you got to pay attention to where they're coming in and what time are they coming in. Daytime, evening, midtime, what's your peak hours, right? Effective marketing. Okay. Ineffective marketing is the killer, right? You have to have marketing that makes sense for you, right? Ineffective marketing is just now. If you don't know how to market, hire somebody off of Upworks or Fiverr or some of these websites that I talked about last week, and get somebody to do the Facebook ads, the social media ads, the postings, the graphics, the H1, the H2, the headlines, the meta tag, all the SEO stuff. Hire somebody to do that. I'm not good at everything. I don't know everything, but I know one thing. I know what I need. I know what I want. Then I go hire the person that's the best person in that position to do that right task so I can get the right outcome. I don't need to know everything. That's not my job. My job is to make money. My job is to make sure I got enough money coming in to pay all my bills and to keep moving, right? Keep scaling, keep moving. That's my job. The vision. I got to see the vision. Okay, we're in April. We're in May. We're going to June. We're going to July. We're going to August. Okay, what happens in June, July, August? People go on vacation. Kids go on vacation, right? School season ends. School season will start in September. There's a lot of movement going on in the real estate business. I'm in real estate. So I'm paying attention to all that data, all that activity that's happening. Regardless of what kind of business you're in, you got to look at the same data, same analysis to look at your clientele and figure out, is your money going up? Is your money going down? You got to understand this, right? Marketing is essential. If you don't have any money and you're just a solopreneur and you want to get your business going, long time ago, years ago, right? One of the things we used to do is go to the metro station, right? People would go to work between 5 a.m. to 8, 9 a.m. We would take about 500 flyers and just start passing the flyers at the metro stations. Go to the different metro stations. We pass the flyers. Be like, hey, good morning. My name is Sid. I'm with Brickfront Properties and Construction. I'm a home builder. I do construction work. Do you need any work done? Would you like a kitchen, a new bathroom, a deck? How can I serve you? How can I help you? I would pass out these flyers, okay? And that's the way I did it. I didn't have $500 for marketing budget or $300. I had my mouth and I had my energy and my mind. And that's what I did to develop my business. And you know what? You can do the same thing, because if you got the will and you got the passion and you really want to do this, get it done. You know what I mean? It ain't no excuses out there. If you want to grow the business, scale the business, do what you got to do. Even if you got every morning 25 business cards, you took 25 business cards and you say, by the time I come back home, I'm going to pass out all 25 business cards to people. And you do that every single day. So you got 7 days in a week. Well, let's just say take out the weekend. You got 5 days in a week, right? 5 times 25 is what? 125. 125 times 4 is 252. That's 500. That's potential business card. You've talked to people, you handed it, you put something in their hand. You put the business card in their hand, you shook their hand, you made eye contact. Send out your business cards, man. Get out there, hustle, grind. You want this thing bad enough, you got to work for it. You got to give up your sleep for it. You got to give up your time for it. You got to work for this thing, man, if you really want it, right? So I'm talking to people that are CEOs. and they want to be CEOs. This is real. This ain't, I mean, we all got 24 hours in a day. It's how we make our choices and our decisions and how the time gets wasted or gets invested in us or in our business. And so right now, number one mistake is a lack of clear vision, right? If you don't have clear vision and no direction and no guidance, and you just out there you're just doing stuff, but there's no KPIs, there's no accountabilities. Like here's what happened week one, here's what happened week two, here's what happened. You got to have like clear vision and you got to have structure, right? Where's your time going? How much time you put out there? How much money you put out there? You got to have clear vision, and we'll talk about that. And I can help you guys on how to develop your KPIs, key performance indicators, right? Key performance indicators. So you know what's performing and what's not, right? If you're a retail shop and you have like 25 products in your store and you know there's 3 products that everybody wants all the time, well, go buy more of those, right? And the other, they don't buy less of those, right? Reanalyze your inventory. Look at your inventory. Look at your supply and demand, right? Analyze this stuff, man. You really got to get focused. Every leader needs a crystal clear roadmap. So look, you could hire a mentor or you could just read, right? There's so much information on Google. There's so much information on the internet. Just read. So my thing is I did and have had multiple mentors as I was growing and scaling, right? When I was, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, I had different kinds of mentors. And I needed that because, as a CEO, and a business owner, it's very lonely. It's a very lonely place because there's things that we go through as CEOs, cash flow. Do we have enough money to make payroll, inventory? Do we have enough money to pay our Pepco bill, electric bill? As a CEO, you go through a lot of stuff. And some of this stuff is depressing, for real. I ain't gonna lie. Some of this stuff will make, I shouldn't say that word, but it will make you depressed. All right. I'm really trying. I got to just stick you right here. It says, don't use bad words. I'm trying not to use bad words. All right. I'm trying to get better. So here's the thing. And if you're married or you got a spouse or you got a relationship, your wife or your girlfriend is not going to understand what you're going through all the time. And you can't talk to them about this on a regular, consistent basis. Because you know what? They may not be supportive, right? They may not be encouraging. They might be the negative energy, the negative vibe that's weighing on you on top of everything else you're dealing with. So, so you hold it in, man. So being a CEO is a lonely place. You got to have a sounding board. You got to have people to talk to, express yourself, and share your ideas. That's going to help you grow and nurture. And you got to get very, very clear with your vision and direction in terms of, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Look at your cycle, look at your seasons, so you can scale and grow based on the weather. Based on the season. When you're in the winter economy, October, November, December, and then January, February, March, that's the winter economy. Then you got the spring economy, and then you got the summer economy. So you got to know how to flow, right? Days get longer during the spring and summer. Days get shorter in Q4 and Q1. So work with the time, work with nature. All right, cash flow is king, right? If you don't control your money, right, it will control and destroy you. You got to control your money. Your gas tank, you're looking at your gas. Is my car full? Is it empty? I need gas. I got to do that. You're looking at your cash flow. I got 20,000 going out this month. I got 10,000 going out this month. I got 5,000 going out this month. Well, how much am I bringing in? I got 30 coming in. This guy owes me 5. This guy owes me 20. You're looking at your cash flow, looking at your P&Ls, your balance sheet, your income statement. Man, I got these credit card bills. You got to understand your money. Bottom line, understand your money, understand your cash flow, and you got to get very clear about your business if you want a business, right? This ain't no game. This is real. And you got to put time, sweat, and energy into this thing, man. You got to make it work. And you got to be real about it. Or just go get a job at Burger King or McDonald's or Walmart and do your thing and let it go. Turn 70, 80 years old and get your little Social Security check and be about it. But right here, we're talking about how to create CEOs and entrepreneurs that want to create millions and millions and millions of dollars. So where they do turn 45, 35, 65, they ain't got to work. They got enough money coming in on a regular, consistent basis where they don't have to think about Walmart. All right. We're going to talk about cost, cutting waste, right? So, for example, sometimes as a CEO, you see these shiny objects. You're like, hey, I'm gonna get this tool. I'm gonna get this software. I need this. I need that. So you start buying all these subscriptions and all these tools, right? And thinking, oh, this is gonna help me do this, help me do this. But next, you got like 10 subscriptions. You paying $39 a month, $59 a month, $79 a month, $97 a month. You paying like $600 a month in fees, but you're really not maximizing and using the tools and subscriptions based on its effectiveness. So you as a CEO got to sit down and analyze, hey man, this thing does this and this and this, but I have not implemented. I have not put it to use. Let me let it go. Cut it off. Let it go, right? Either you increase your income or reduce your expenses, right? Either you increase your income or reduce your expenses. That's it. It's two things. Reduce your expenses or increase your income. Bottom line, you got to be constantly looking at this thing on a weekly, monthly basis. That's the only way you're going to be in a financial management control of your business, right? Secure funding, credit lines, and business cards, right? Understand how to use it. Credit cards can be extremely well if they're used properly in a methodical, strategic manner, right? I have credit cards, a lot of them, a lot of limits, but I use them the way I need to use them to leverage cash, to leverage my next payment coming in. I know I got 10,000 coming in here. I got 50,000. Okay. I got 20,000. I got 90,000. I'm leveraging credit cards to buy more time. And you could do the same thing, but you got to understand how to, right? How to use the credit cards and the funding. It ain't free money, baby. It ain't free money. You can't just get the credit card and be at TJ Maxx and Nordstrom's and Macy's and Bloomingdale's buying shoes and purses. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. Your financial IQ determines your business lifespan. You got to have an IQ and you have to understand financial literacy. It matters. 1 + 1 = 2. All right, you really got to understand all these things, man. It's serious. No joke. And some of you guys that are in business, if you're doing $300,000, $500,000, $700,000, $1 million, you understand what I'm talking about. You got employees, payrolls, you got holidays. Do I pay these employees on the holiday? Do I don't pay them? As a CEO, you're constantly making decisions, right? Ignoring the market research, right? Ignoring the market research is huge. Know the game before you play the game. All right. Know the game before you play the game. What I mean, understand your industry, understand your local hyper market. If you decide to open up a location in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, or Clinton, Maryland, or Charles County, or Bowie, Maryland, or DC, or Arlington, Virginia, wherever you decide, know your demographics, know your geographic, know the game. Who's buying, who's selling, what's your competition, what kind of other restaurants or similar shops to mine or in this area within 5 miles, 10 miles. Is there a need for this service or this product in this area in 10 miles radius for where I'm opening up my shop? You got to understand the game and do your market research. Who's buying? Who's not? How often? Is it a seasonal business? Is it a Christmas thing? Is it a holiday thing? Is it a nail salon? Is it a hair salon? Is it an automobile shop? What kind of business? Who's buying? Who's spending? Right? What's your competition? And you can hire commercial real estate brokers, and these commercial real estate brokers will do a whole analysis for you. So if you decide to open up a shop in a shopping center, hire them. They're called the CCIM, right? Certified Commercial Investment Management. Hire them. Let them do analysis report for you. And they'll tell you exactly how much people spend and what's the buying capacity in the area, right? Understand this stuff, man, and use it. Be wise about it. Don't go into business just to lose money, waste time, right? Stop guessing, right? Start knowing. Stop guessing. Start really knowing the information so you can make the good, wise decisions, right? Conduct a competitive analysis and understand your customer directory on a regular. This is where the CCIM, the Commercial Investment Management, these These guys are commercial realtors, right? Hire them, pay them, right? Let them do their work. They have the data, the analysis, the software to give you so you don't fail. So you can look at all the data, take all the information in, and be patient, and then grow and leverage, right? Leverage their knowledge and information and their relationships, right? Leverage tools like Google Trends, SEM Rush, social media, social listings, right? Leverage this stuff. When I say leverage, meaning, if you put something on Google or the social media, it could go out viral, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 people look at it. The thing is branding, 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 branding. You're always creating awareness and branding for your business and for your product and your service. Like me here at Brickfront Properties and Construction, I work with homeowners that want to sell very quickly. All right, vacant properties, absentee owners. I work with homeowners that have a great property in a great location, but the home inside, the kitchen, the bathrooms, the roof might be old and needs updated. Well, I come in, do the construction work, improve their value, sell it at a higher price. They make money, I make money. I buy properties from people that are in probate, right? They passed away. The kids live in Texas. The property is in Clinton, Maryland. And I buy their property, fix it up, they get their money, we get our money. So, understand the game, understand your customer, understand your market, and use the Google Trends. This information is so available, and there's so much free training on Google right now. There's so much free training that Google is providing you guys. If you really want to learn, go to google.com/training. There's so much training and information out there. Know what your market needs before they ask for it, right? Data is your competitive edge. Data mining, data research is very important to the health of your business. And you got to understand who's your customer and where they're coming from and be able to use that so you can leverage. Here's a product. We bought this house. This is what it used to look like before, right? With the wood paneling, the little bedroom in the back. This was 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom house. And this was in Rockville. And then we basically turned into this house. We added different features, recessed lights, crown molding, new floors, new kitchen, took the walls down. We made this house into a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom house with a huge deck in the back. Amazing transformation. This is what we do, right? We're in the real estate construction industry. I've been investing and teaching for years, over 20, 25 years. So I believe there's something you could learn from me. Maybe it's just something. Mistake number 4, right? Just hiring the wrong people, right? Hiring practices. Bad hires cost you money, right? Bad hiring costs you money. You hire your cousin, your uncle, your friend. It don't work, man. You want to be a business owner, be professional. Think like, some of the CEOs that are making 50, 70, $80 million. Look at the interview process. And I'll share with you my interview process and what I do to look at a person, a candidate, before I hire them. We have version 1 interview, then version 2, and then version 3. So we'll put out an advertisement and say, hey, we're looking for a very strong social media manager, and be very specific with your details. I need this. I want 20 blogs a month. I want 10 postings on social media. I want 2, 3 videos edited every week. I want SEO. I want this. You make a very detailed plan. And I'm looking for somebody that has at least 10,000 hours of doing this kind of work. And then you get the resumes coming in. That's version 1. Step number 2, you look at the resumes. You're like, oh, this is great. And then you pick the top 5 or 10 people. And then you say, hey, you go back to them. Okay, I like you. I think I'm interested in you. But here's what I need to know. What can you do for me and my business to help me scale and grow? What can you do for me and my business? What do you bring to the table that's going to help me scale and grow? Because you want people to think, right? You don't want to hire people just to hire people. You don't want to hire bodies. You want people to think and analyze and know your culture and know your business and know your product. And they come back in version 2.0, they say, hey, let's say 5 people come back out of 10. They say, I could do this, I could do this, I'll be willing to do this. I know social media, I've done this for people in the past. And then you ask them, okay, send me some of the work that you've done in the past, right? Show me. And then you get them to do that. And then you basically, if it's just you as the person, you interview them again, you talk to them again, and then you basically send them a version 3.0. Say, okay, now here's what I need you to do. I need you to write me a paragraph with 750 characters in 2 paragraphs, and I want you to do it in blue ink at an 8.5 font and make it very clear instructions and specific instructions. And then you send that back out there. And then out of the 5, let's say 2 people, they follow your instructions to the T. They do exactly what you want them to. Then those are the 2 people you want to consider hiring them, right? You need people that follow direction. You need people that follow direction and people that are going to think and that's going to create and it's going to help bring value to your business so you could do other things as a CEO. All right. So hiring process and hiring practices takes time. It's very essential. It's very important. Please listen to this again. Okay, take this into consideration. Don't hire family members and friends. It don't work. It never will work. Bottom line. I'm telling you. And if it does work, it's very, very small. And you're going to fight and argue. And they're going to be yelling and cussing at you. Believe me, it ain't going to be good. All right, use structure interviews and test tasks that I just talked about. Prioritize the culture, alignment, and work ethics. And then I do a test, right? So I get them to do a predictive index test, a predictive index test. And then I also get them to do a DISC test. I get them to do both tests, and I can see how they behave under pressure. Right? These 2 particular tests will tell you they're good, they're bad, and they're ugly, and their strengths and their weaknesses. So get them to do a predictive index test. That's step 1, which is free. And then also a DISC test, which is free. And then, before you hire these people, keep in mind, your team builds or breaks your vision, right? They either build your vision or they're going to break your vision. They're going to give you a headache or they're going to give you peace, right? If you got a constant employee, I'm sick, I'm tired, my car's broken, I can't come to work, my baby's sick, I can't do this, I can't do that. That's not good for you as a CEO, man. It's just not, right? That's the wrong person. You need somebody dedicated, willing, and able. They show up 15 minutes early. They stay 15 minutes late. They grind. They help you. They're like, look, yo, I can do this Saturday if you don't want me to do. I got nothing to do. I'll come in. I'll do this. They volunteer, right? They think, right? They're your sounding board. All right, number 5, all right, neglecting employee development, right? Grow your people to grow your profits. Bottom line, when you do get that right person, they went through version 1 interview process, version 2, version 3, and now you hire them. They follow your instructions. You got that you got the person, all right? Now, what you got to be able to do is nurture them, right? You got to feed into them. You got to pour into them. You got to give into them. Like for me, I do meetings on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So 4 weeks in a row. We do 12 meetings a month. 12 meetings a month. 9 o'clock to 10:30. 9 o'clock to 10:30. Consistently. Right? I feed into my people. I make them stronger. I make them better. I make them where they could do my job so I could go do other things. Right? You got to delegate to be able to grow and to be able to develop. You got to delegate. Right? That's the only way you're going to be able to grow. But you can't delegate to the wrong people if they ain't got the passion or the understanding of your business or the love of your business. They're just looking for a job. Well, you got the wrong person. You just look for a check. Go work at McDonald's. Go to Burger King, baby. You're the wrong person for me. I need somebody that got my spirit. They got my energy. They got my heart. We're on the same page. So you got to get on that same wavelength with me, man. And you got to be able to look at that stuff, right? Invest in ongoing learning, and internal and external, right? Recognize the wins, give feedback, promote leadership. Okay, retention is cheaper than recruitment. Build loyalty through development. Build loyalty through development, for real. Like, I have people with me for like 4 years, 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, 20 years. People have been with me. Why? Because I treat them right. Yeah, we get to arguing a little bit, fussing and fussing. But you know what? At the end of the day, I respect them. They respect me. We get things done. Bottom line, treat people with respect and dignity, and they'll show up for you, man. They'll do things for you that you cannot be everywhere at the same time. You got to have the right people playing for you on your team so you can scale. And your job as a CEO is to nurture that relationship, and it's to grow that relationship, and it's to talk to them, sit down, go out to lunch with them, ask them for their feedback. How you feeling? How you like the business? If this was your company, what would you do differently? Show me, talk to me, right? You got to like get involved. You know what I mean? They're not just a slave or an employee to the business. They got a mind. They think. Some of these people going to school and college, reading books and stuff, man. You got to get into them, right? Lack of adaptability, right? Lack of adaptability. Like, either you change or you die, right? If you know there's a storm coming, you got the market going down, the industry is going down, everything. You got to change. You got to adapt. You got to duck the storm, right? You got to duck and weave. You got to duck and do. You got to pivot. You got to learn to pivot. If you know this is happening, you got to learn to pivot. And pivoting is very important. And the only way you're going to be able to pivot is by knowing the market, knowing your trends, knowing your industry, looking at your financial numbers, looking at your health of your cash flow, looking at what season are we in? Are we in a winter season, a spring season, a summer season? Where are we in the year? Is it a Christmas holiday season? Know your product, know your industry. You got to learn to be able to adapt and to change. Okay? Know your business, right? Business shifts fast. You got to be able to shift fast, right? Things happen all the time. Like this whole thing with the new president and laying off millions and millions of people, and businesses are going under. I just read an article where they're about to close down a bunch of gold gyms. They're about to close down some of these other, like J.C. Penney's and Macy's and all these different stores and stuff. And the thing is, people get laid off on a regular basis. Does that help you or does that hurt you, right? So know your industry, know your economy, right? Know your customers' behavior, right? Know the economic trends. Read, pay attention. I read about 15, 20 hours a week, for real. I'm constantly reading and understanding, not just basic elementary stuff. I'm reading high-level stuff, like what high-level companies are doing as the information comes down, because they know it first, right? They know the information first, and they're making changes and adapting their business, and it trickles down. I'm grabbing it, and I'm making changes and adapting my own business as it comes down the chain. But you got to be able to read, and you got to be able to get on some podcasts and YouTube videos and learn the market based on your industry and based on what product and services you provide, right? So you got to know these stuff, man. Okay, complexity is a slow killer. You can't be complacent, man. You gotta be willing to do the work, right? Be ready to pivot. Don't get attached to the outdated models, okay? Know your business, know your area, know your demographics. Now, last thing right here. All right, number 7, effective marketing, all right? If you're invisible and people can't find you, you're not doing the right marketing, the right branding, you're not posting right, you're not advertising right, you're not doing it on a consistent basis, on a daily basis, and you're just one person, okay, it hurts. But even if you're like a $500,000 business, $1 million business, you got to have a dedicated marketing team, just a marketing department that's constantly pushing your name out there, your brand out there, your services out there. What makes you unique? Why should the customer trust you, like you, and believe you? You got to do videos. You got to show your testimonials. You want to grow scale to $10, $20 million. You got to do marketing on a consistent, regular basis. Now, again, if you don't have the money, right, go to the metro stations like I did. Take 25, 50 business cards and make it a personal goal. I'm going to pass out these 50 business cards before I get home today. You could be at the subway, be like, hey, how you doing, man? Look, I'm an electrician. Here's my business card. I'm right here in the area. Hey, good morning, man. Look, I got a hair salon around the corner. This is what we do. Pass such information. Talk to people. You got to talk to people to grow your business. Bottom line, you're the number one salesperson for your product and your service. Know your product, know your service. Be the beacon. Be the beacon of your business, right? Be the loud voice out there because your employees aren't going to do it. Your employee, like the way I sell, none of my employees can sell like me. None of my employees can sell it. Now, they're good in a lot of ways, but I'm the top salesperson for my business. And when we get a hot lead, guess what? I'm the one going out there to close that deal, right? You as the CEO got to be in the same position, have the same confidence and the same belief in your product and your service, regardless of what industry you're in, so you can go out there and make that money. Your employees can take you so far, but you got to go close the deal, right? So effective marketing, it impacts you. You got to get your marketing together on a daily, consistent basis. And, mouth to word is good, but there's a lot more avenues and a lot more possibilities out there. Build a strong name, strong marketing strategies across digital marketing, offline channels, use funnels, social proof, SEO, retargeting, okay, call to actions, track your KPIs, cost per lead, cost per conversion, right? Okay, if a client comes in and in the month, let's say January, February, March, Q1, let's say you made $39,000, revenue came in, but you actually spent $48,000. So you lost money, right? Okay, well, what happened? Why did we lose money? You got to constantly be thinking and analyzing. So let's just reverse the role. Let's say Q1, January, February, March. Your burn rate, you're burning 38,000, but you made 58,000. Now you got 20,000 of profit, right? You're analyzing, you're constantly analyzing and visualizing, and you got to be very clear, right? Visibility equals credibility. Visibility equals credibility, baby. You got to be visual. People got to know who you are, what you do, what your service is, why you're unique, why should I trust you, why should I do business with you? Like me, I'm a home inspector. I built houses, been in construction for years. I'm very comfortable and confident in terms of what I do. This is what I do every day in, day out. This is how I pay my bills. This is how I pay my family, right? Put the bread and the butter on the table. You got to have that same belief and that same ego to be able to do your work, man. Be real about the business. Don't play no games. Here's another project that we bought in Indian Head, Maryland. We bought this townhouse. We fixed it. We flipped it. So we buy, we fix, we sell. We buy, we fix, we sell. We do construction work for homeowners and real estate agents and insurance companies when houses get on fire or water damage or wind damage or tree falls. So, we do a lot of different construction work. So I got a big team, but they're not all my employees. Now I have my main employees. Then I got subcontractors as I need them to pull them in to a project, right? This is what the house looks like it's finished. This is the finished product, right? Afterwards, right? So this is this is when we were doing the work, getting the house done. This is what the house looked like before when we bought it. This is what it looked like before. You see all this, right? So this is what we do. I'm very proud of my work and my business. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. I'm appreciative. And I love what I do, baby. I love what I do, man, for real. And you got to be able to have the same passion and the same energy. Here's another project. We bought this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this right here. Right? Now look at this, baby. Look at this right here. This is the after. Right? It takes vision. As a CEO, you got to have that vision. You got to have that clarity. You got to have that vision. Right? You got to be able to see things beyond the forest. Right? Your job as a CEO is to run the business, run the show. Let the employees hire the right people to delegate, and so you could develop and you could grow. All right, 5 keys to focus on for growth. Skill smart, focus where it matters. To grow a sustainable, profitable business, master these areas, strategic planning, vision, KPIs, quarterly goals, daily goals, top 3 things I got to get done today, top 3 things I got to get done today. Get really focused and intentional about your business, your financial health. Look at your budget. Look at your numbers. All right, I got $200,000 in the account. I got $10,000 in the account. I got 2,500 in the account. I got 500 in the account. Know your numbers, know your budget, know what's going on, what's coming in. Understand your forecast. Customer acquisition, right? Systems for leads. How much a lead? How much does it cost to me to get a customer? If I'm paying $350 to get one strong lead, says, hey, I got a client that wants to sell a house fast and quickly, and I paid $350 for that lead, but I could potentially make $10,000. Would you pay $350 to make $10,000? Right? Would you pay $250, $300, $500, $600 to make $10,000? Know your customer acquisition, know your numbers, right? Understand that. Operational effectiveness, know your system, know your scope of work, and automation. Automate your business as much as possible. Get a CRM, automate your business, create a funnel, get your automatic emails going out on a regular basis, automatic text messages being released, automatic ringless voice messages being released. Get somebody to answer your phone every day on a consistent basis. Automate your business as much as possible. There are so many tools and technology and funnels out there that will allow you to automate your business. Please automate your business as much as possible. Team development, hiring, training, and accountability, right? Hiring the right people for the right position, to put them in the right seat, to create the right result, to create the right outcome, so you as a CEO can make the right amount of money, right? Train them, educate them, bring them into your culture, pour into them, meet with them Monday, Wednesday, Friday, talk to them, have dedicated meetings, have them show up to the meeting with an agenda. Instead of you always having an agenda, say, hey, Stacy, next Wednesday, I want you to come up with the agenda for the meeting. Hey, Paul, next Wednesday, I want you to come up with the agenda for the meeting. Get them involved, right? You don't have to be a dictator. You ain't got to be Hitler, right? You ain't got to be Putin. You ain't got to be, just let it flow like water. Let it flow like water. Let it flow like the wind. Be natural. Just breathe and relax and let your employees come in and help you grow the business. Don't be a dictator. Master these things, really master these things, and just don't survive. Just scale, man. Just scale and grow and just be patient, be focused, be determined. Okay, pay attention to the news, to the data, to your industry, to your market. Read, pay attention, go to the library, meditate, be still. How can brick from property add value to you? Right now, I'm talking to homeowners and realtors and investors. Hey, look, if you're looking to sell a house, we buy houses in any condition. We buy them fast. We help homeowners all the time to sell for top dollar by repairing their properties. We do mentoring training for new investors and contractors and developers that want to get into this business. We do train realtors and wholesalers that want to get better at what they do. And also we train people that want to just be with me, want to be around my energy, my focus, and be like, yo, I want to talk to you about my business, my company. I really like what you were saying about the on the webinar. And I believe you can help me with some of these things. Use me as a sounding board, right? Like a brainstorm. We can brainstorm together and develop and open up some ideas and get you thinking higher, right? Now, listen, if you guys like this information that I'm providing, please subscribe, right? Go to our channel, give us some love. Say, hey, I like this. Hit the ring bell on YouTube. The bell, ding, 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 right? Give us some love, man. Give us some energy, right? I'm trying to help the community grow. I'm trying to help the community get this free information, this knowledge. But if you like this information, share the information. Like it, give me some feedback, give me some love. I would really appreciate that. It'll help us go a long way. My goal is to help 100,000 people in this area, right? Help 100,000 business owners to scale and to grow the business. That's my personal goal. So the more feedback, the more love you give me, I would really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, this is what we do, guys. All right, look, final words, baby, final words. All right, this is your season. Don't just watch other people build wealth. Start building your own wealth, right? This is it. Don't sit back and watch people do this. Get involved, get in the game, right? I've given you some very great details and step-by-step guidance Go back, watch this video. Pay attention to it. Okay? Do the work. Get up. Tomorrow's a brand new day. It's Friday, and get it going. Thank you, guys. Take care.